okay, so how did you get we like to do, because it's your first time, a little bit into your origin story. How did you come to be a YouTuber? Were you in like the regular 9 to 5 world before this?
Oh, I was in the 9 to 5 world until a week before I went into labor.
Wow. Okay, so really recently. Yeah, me too. I've just been out of the working world like 8.5 months, I guess.
Yeah. So, it started back in the ye old good times of like 2013 or so, I think. Um, I had found libertarianism around the election of 2012. I got into Ron Paul in 2010 and found libertarianism. And something happens when you first find the ideas of liberty and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. I have to tell everyone about it. And you assume that everyone else also wants to hear it, which is not the case.
You're like, if you heard this, you would of course be on board.
My family really didn't want to hear it, and neither did my friends. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a Facebook page because that's before Facebook made you pay to actually get on people's news feeds.
Yeah, now they just want your money. Facebook is the only is suitable for like complaining, and maybe just like, yeah, selling things.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I started a Facebook page and I also started a blog. Eventually, over time, I actually got some really decent views. There was this chick at the time that called herself the Femitheist, and she had this whole thing about wanting to reduce the male population by 90% and having forced
This sounds
castration.
Was she related to Klaus Schwab in any way? This sounds like
Maybe.
New World Ordery.
So, I wrote an article about her and put in snippets of an interview that she did, and that article got translated into like 7 different languages or something. It was insane.
Where did you initially post it?
Just it was on my old website, which was
Oh,
this
wow.
really janky WordPress website because I don't know how to code. It was really
Everybody
bad.
had it. What did I have? I had, not WordPress, but, some kind of a blog. It was like like, I would be embarrassed to say it. Like, it was like a blog site, basically. I forget the
Mhm.
name.
And after that, I started getting emails from people saying, "Oh, I really like your work, but I don't want to read it. So you should do videos." So I started a YouTube channel. It was really bad and cringy at first, and I posted maybe once every 3 or 6 months. And I was like, why aren't I getting followers? And then at one point, folks that they weren't with the Gary Johnson campaign, but they were affiliated with him in some way, asked me to guest on a podcast, like be a co-host. And it somehow ended up where even though it wasn't my podcast, I was the only one that was showing up on time and was
Huh.
prepared every week. And I was like, damn, you know what? If I could do this, I could actually upload regular videos to YouTube. And that
Yeah, okay.
what started it. And I started out either sitting on a table, crouched under a table lamp, recording on my laptop, or I had this whole setup where I would sit on the floor in the living room because that was the only blank wall in the house. I would put on these construction lights that if you had them on for more than like 10 minutes, they would start smoking and sparking a little and would smell really bad.
Ooh, how fun. It's like you could have used them at like for a nightlife, like open up your own club.
Right? And that's how the Liberty Doll channel was born.
Oh my god, somebody in the chat. Yes, it was Tumblr. Thank you, Flop Tina. I had
Oh, that is
Tumblr.
embarrassing.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, what's more embarrassing than that? I think my first Twitter handle was Hysterigal, and I didn't want to give it up. Like I held on to it for a really long time because I'm like, Hysterigal, it's perfect. I'm a hysterical gal. And then everyone's like, no one can find you. Nobody cares about puns. Just make it your fucking name. Um, I don't know. I think that's the way to go for comedy at least. Like, although you go by a fun name, so and it works for you. So Wish I could go back and tell that person.
I mean, it works for me, but people get confused because my website and email is the Liberty Doll because apparently some Chinese company somewhere has just Liberty Doll and they keep sending me emails. They've been sending me emails for like 10 years asking me to buy this domain for 4 grand. And I'm like, no, thank you.
Wow, asking you to buy it.
Yeah.
Wow. They're like, "We literally sell Liberty dolls." They are sex dolls that, have American flag bikinis on them. That's what some people do, they'll buy domains and then they'll just try to grift off that, I guess. Whatever works for you guys. Whatever works for you, China. So that's so interesting that it was Ron Paul that really kind of drew you in to being a libertarian. What was it specifically that really spoke to you that of his beliefs that you were like, "Oh my god, this is I'm all in."
That is an excellent question. It is so long ago, and babies do this thing where they suck out your brain cells that I'm really
Uh,
gonna have to think about it.
that's been happening to me too, and I don't even have the excuse of a baby. Um, I think what people it's especially in 2022, I hope there's been a resurgence of people interested in libertarianism because it's like we are watching our liberties and our rights being
Mhm.
stripped from us like in real time. It's like you don't have to open up a history book. It's like if you were just alive the last 2 years, I don't know what more you need to to get on board.
I think the biggest thing it sounds cliche, I guess, but a lot of what he said just made sense because I mean, at that time, I am really embarrassed to say that I was an Obama voting feminist.
Girl, me too. Hello. I was don't ever feel embarrassed for that. I was a SJW feminist women's studies minor when I graduated college. Like I was
Oh
a
my god, me too. I
fucking
was 1 credit short
moron.
of the minor.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was all about it. I was going to protests like I had very short blonde hair and braces which helped because men were not interested in me so that it was easier for me to not be interested in them.
I
Yeah.
had the shaved head, like, flopped over mohawk that was all these different colors, but
Wow.
it was before the
It was cool.
SJW people co-opted because I was
So
also a punk and I had the
you
jacket with
pioneered
the
it.
spikes and the studs and a red patch right here that said, "This is what a feminist looks like."
Oh, no. I had before the Karens really made it popular, I had, like, the classic Karen haircut, like, think Midwestern hairstylist, like, a bang, and then, like, really short up the back, and then, like, longer up here and like, dyed blonde, so I would scrunch it up, and I'd be like, "I have fun hair," and it was, I was delusional. I was kidding myself for many years.
But I
And then I
still
had
re
I had I had adult braces and I would be shocked. I'd be like, "Why are all these like" I think I had a legit minor attracted person, like, into me. Like, I looking back, like, I met a guy on the train when I was commuting back and forth from college into my internship in New York City at NBC, and I had braces on, and he was like, "How old are you?" And, like, now looking back, I'm like, "Oh,
That's so awkward.
I was definitely chumming the waters for sharks that I did not want to come by." But now I'm older and know better. Yeah.
But I still remember there was something, it wasn't particularly something that he said, Ron Paul, but just the overarching idea where it was like, I was like a feminist and voted for Obama. And just as I learned more about what was actually happening in our government and in our country, it was this sort of realization of, feminism is supposed to be, equal rights, blah, blah, blah. But really, it comes down to women wanting special treatment or whatever popular minority group at the time wanting special treatment. And his thing was like with libertarianism, it's like, well, if the individual is the smallest minority and everyone has the same rights, we don't need things like feminism or whatever other special interest groups to give this special group special treatment when everybody has the same rights across the board,
Everyone is
which
equally special and unspecial.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And that sounds just so basic to me now, all these years later. But back then, it was like a total mind blowing mind fuck of like, why didn't I think of that before?
And it's also like, why didn't anyone teach me this in any of the schooling that I had for years? Like, why wasn't it even given as an option? Like, why was this something I had to learn and discover on my own through like years of trial and error, like my own human foibles? Like, how, like, why were my parents paying so much money and this wasn't even presented as a possibility?
Yeah. So I think it was that and just, individual liberties and basically, doing whatever you want that's within your rights as long as you're not hurting other people. Because, as I said, I was a punk back then. I had the jacket with the studs and the spikes and everything. So it was like, yeah, F the system. And it's like, oh, here's this ideology that literally allows me to be left alone so long as I'm not committing some violence or like heinous crime.
Right. So when you were a feminist, were you fully like anti-man? Because it's like you're married now with a baby. Do you think your former self would be aghast to see where you've landed?
Well, I mean, I didn't see myself getting married, but that was more the product of, dysfunctional family rather than feminism. Like I was never anti-man. I just was like, "Oh, glass ceiling, wage gap, pink razors." I don't know. It's
Yeah, our razors are more expensive, but it's like you could buy the male razors, you
yeah,
know?
they're exactly the same.
Yeah. I like to buy the ones with like the purple stuff around it, like it's surrounded in goo.
That's actually what's in my shower right now.
Ooh, and they're fun. I love when they're and then I know when the purple goo wears off, it's like it's probably time to replace the razor, and my favorite thing to do is, like, fire the razor off the stick, like, "Pew, pew," and I try to shoot it, like, into the trash. That's fun for me. Or I'll shoot it, like, into the shower.
Mhm.
Yep, yep, it's the little things.
It's good to
I don't
have
know.
goals.
And now I don't know right, I remember when I learned about, like, "Oh, everything's so much more expensive for women." It's like, this is based off of, like, decades of studies, like, these companies are just trying to make money. It's like, you can either, like, acknowledge reality and, like, okay, if this bothers you, you can always find stuff for cheaper,
Mhm.
or not, and just be like, "Alright, well, this is the price you have to pay if you wanna be attractive,"
It's
because,
the
like
price we pay for civilized society.
Yeah. It's like no one's forcing you to buy any of this stuff. It's like you could look like my Aunt Liz in Maryland who doesn't wear any makeup, but it's like also she's not getting catcalled. So
Well, I mean, and the thing is like, okay, are we going to complain that razors are an extra 50 cents or whatever they are? Like, why do you care? Like, you don't even shave your armpits.
yeah. I mean, that's one way to shave on razors is just stop shaving anything. Like I'm so mad it's my brother's wedding. He said I have to shave my armpits if I want to be in the bridal party. That's so interesting. I feel like similarly, I was kind of anti-marriage because of the relationship my parents had, and I was just like, "Oh, this is you're just signing up for a lifetime of resenting each other, and they don't have each other's backs, and they're just constantly talking shit about one another as soon as one leaves the room. So why would I want to do that?"
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're making videos. Did you notice when you came out and started making videos, like you mentioned before, you're like, I'm trying to tell people my friends weren't interested. Did you feel like the more outspoken you became about libertarianism, did you feel like you were losing friends? Did you feel like people were
Oh, yeah. Oh,
distancing
definitely.
themselves?
I had and my best friend at the time said that I was only pretending to believe in this stuff and I was changing my views for a man because, oh no, my now husband was like, "So have you heard about our Lord and Savior Ron Paul?"
You're like, big deal. We just have one Ron Paul shrine in the house.
um, and so that happened, and I had an aunt that this is so stupid. We were really close at the time, and I don't even remember what I posted on my Facebook page. It wasn't my post that she had a problem with. There was someone in the comments that said something about the military, like military getting welfare, or that the military is like the strong arm of the government overseas, something like that. I don't even know what it was, but someone in my comments apparently said something that my aunt thought was anti-military, and she just unfriended me and blocked me, and I didn't find out for 6 months what the
This is
problem
wait, this
was.
isn't even something you said. It was someone else's comment.
But when I didn't see the comment and didn't respond to the comment, she took it as a direct attack against the family because most of my family on that side is are veterans. And when I didn't respond to this comment, she thought that I was dishonoring and disrespecting the family because I didn't stand up to this rando person in this rando comment I never saw for
Oh,
bad mouthing the
wow.
military.
Oh, wow. Okay, so she really read into that.
And what's ironic is I was doing weekly live streams on Fridays. Baby is not happy with that. So we're tabling them for a
Oh,
while. But she started watching them and was like, oh my God, your views have matured so much. And it's like, my views have basically been the same. If not, they've actually probably gotten more radical since like 2010, 2012. But I don't know.
and did you feel like you would just try to explain yourself? Like, I know how the feeling because 'cause you're like, it sucks to feel misunderstood. Like, I have friends and comics I kind of occasionally work with and do podcasts with, and they don't really understand because they're not politically minded. They're not like so much news focused. They are really more just like comedy focused and they talk about their own lives. So it's like they think I've gone so radical right. They call me like an uber right winger. And I'm like, it's not really that much. Like I'm like, my sense of humor is the same. It's really just like I'm more aware of what's going on. And I
There's
feel
so
like I've
much
just kind of
material to draw
woken
from
up.
these days.
Yeah. Yeah, so it does bother me when it's like I get called like, "Oh, you're just a right winger." And it's like, "Okay, well, there's a little bit more to it than that." And like, "Well, you vote for Trump, so you're a crazy right winger." And I'm like, "Wow," but it's like, is that really fair to say when we only have two choices and one of them's Trump? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. But then part of being adult is just being okay with not everyone liking you. Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.